The Mandurah warning. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, because I thought we'd have a look at an article and some examples of what's happening in Mandurah over in WA. Now, I, along with many others, were first introduced to the situation in Mandurah by Martin North, John Adams, and Robbie Berwick when they looked at the city. When John and Robbie visited and drove through, and Martin identified it as one of the areas of leading levels of mortgage stress. You can see it's a satellite city south of Perth, where a lot of people, a lot of cashed up, people with working from the mining area, invested, bought in, and have moved to. Now, articles are appearing like this one. Issues are starting to manifest in Mandurah. Now, the question we all have to ask, is this a foreshadowing and a warning for the rest of us, particularly on the other side of the country, of what could happen over here? If we look back at some arrears rate data, we can see a few years ago, or last year, Western Australia and Northern Territory were leading the way. Over 1.5% of people were in arrears. This was back before we didn't have these wonderful inventions, such as mortgage holidays, where they just defer your mortgage payments. Before we had these things. And they're starting to come to an end now. And, well, the economy hasn't recovered yet. So the plan of giving people some breathing room to adjust and hopefully everything will spring back doesn't seem to have materialized. So, welcome to Australia's unemployment capital. Homeless people roam the streets, drug addiction is rife, and families struggle to survive in a town once touted as a thriving satellite city. And this, in regional, well, all throughout Australia, you've got issues with abuse of substances. And that's just going to exacerbate with the recession. Remember, we haven't had one in 28 years, guys. So residents in Mandurah in Western Australia are fighting to survive in the once thriving coastal city amid an escalating employment crisis. And the recession has just started. Our unemployment rate is sitting at 6.8% if you believe the ABS. I prefer the Roy Morgan data, you generally roughly double it. If you combine this with unemployment and underemployment on Roy Morgan, it's about 23%. I don't even want to know what it would be if we threw in all the JobKeeper people that aren't actually working. So, once touted as Perth's version of the Gold Coast for Brisbane, Mandurah was one of the fastest growing cities in Australia through the mid-2000s and enjoyed a housing industry boom. The location has previously been described as an idyllic satellite city with prosperous hospitality and tourism industries. Now, that sounds nice, but just having all your eggs, it's like the Gold Coast then. Well, because what does the Gold Coast have? Hospitality and tourism and not much else. I should know, I grew up down there. I'm going down there tomorrow to visit my mother. So, but the town has been plunged into poverty by dwindling job numbers, and the streets are flooded with homeless people, and many families are struggling to survive. Data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics found Mandurah's jobless rate reached 18% in July at the height of the pandemic. 18%. And that's ABS data, everyone. So double it as a rule of thumb to get a rough understanding of what it actually would be. By August, the jobless rate had decreased, but at 11.3%, it was still 4.4% above the national average. Nicole Sowerby has been working in the fast food industry for the past 2 years and recently had her work hours dropped from 35 to just 5. The 18-year-old said employers wanted to hire young people for cheap labor, but are reluctant to hire unskilled workers. Now, this is the thing, everyone. This is why when I say to address unemployment, you need to make it easier to fire people. You need to make it easier to fire someone. Because if you hire someone, they're unskilled, you're taking a gamble to train them up, that they'll be good. But what if they're completely useless? Then you have to go through a managed process to get them out of your business. That's That's the thing. It goes both ways. It's a classic catch-22. You can't get the experience unless you have a job, but they won't give you a job, she told the Sunday Times. It's because of that. Employing someone, there's risks associated with it. Once you employ them, you're locked in with them. And I know people are telling me, oh, they'll say in the comments, what about a probationary period and all that stuff? That doesn't actually exist, everyone. You need to look into it. It's actually not legit. Ms. Sotheby feared many in the city would be forced to break the law in order to make ends meet. I mean, that's concerning when you're getting to that point, when you're starting to depend on crime, everyone. Donna Griffin and her husband, Steve Stack, have been unemployed in the city for 5 years and have turned to busking to make money. I mean, should it even be called a city, guys? Should it even be, isn't it more like a coastal town, a commuter place? This is the problem with these type of places, guys. What work is there? What industry is there? The 50-year-old former lecturer at Curtin University said the social decay from rampant drug and alcohol issues was having a detrimental impact on the community. The drinking, the drugs, we've seen it all in the streets in the last 5 years, she said. The population in Mandurah is predicted to continue to increase to almost double its current 80,000 people in the next 20 years. Unemployment rates jumped after the mining boom collapsed, with large numbers of fly-in fly-out workers contributing to the tally. Peel Chamber of Commerce and Industry General Manager Andrew McCarroll said key foundations must be put in place in order to change the unemployment tune of the town and into the future. We have to capitalize on the industry that we have, which centers around water and tourism. Well, okay, tourism, you're not going to have much luck there. So you don't really have any industries, do you? You don't really have any industries. Do you have fisheries in water? Do you have fisheries in water, or what do you have? So if we jump over here, guys, let's have a look. I want to look at some of the real estate in Mandurah, guys, just to get everyone a bit of an understanding of what's happening here. And I'm just checking to make sure, because that finished rather abruptly. Okay, nope, that was it. There we were. Okay, so water. I mean, if we have a look here, they've got a national nature reserve. They've got a yacht club there. I mean, this is Mandurah here. And what I've done is I've filtered this property search for houses, townhouses, apartments, and villas. And you can just see the number of properties. I was quite shocked when I first did this to see how many properties are listed for sale, everyone. This is just properties. If I put up land, it just jumps even more. Now, here's one I found. I randomly clicked on it. Little 4-bedder, 2-bath, 2-car. And we'll look at the photos. I mean, there you go. Nice little attached townhouse. Nice little bathroom. I quite like it. You know, nothing too special, but perfectly fine to live in. Perfectly. It's even got either that's a ventilation fan or air conditioning. No, it's got AC. There you go. Ducted AC. Wow. I'm not used to such luxuries, guys. There you go. And you need everything. Kind of reminds me a bit. Yeah, I can see how people can compare it to the Gold Coast. Reminds me of Harvey Bay, really. So, there you go. A nice little place. The asking price are for bids over $359,000. You can request an inspection, and it's right here, right in the middle. A 2-story townhouse. Now, there's another website I want to introduce you all to, just to make sure you're aware of it. This here is propertyvalue.com.au. And you can type in any property, and it gives you some insight. And if you upgrade to premium, you can get more information. But right here, last sold for. So in 2006, this property, which is now, they're asking for bids over $359,000, which they're saying the value is estimated between $300,000 and $325,000, sold for $435,000. So according to this website, it's lost, $110,000 in value. You can't blame them for trying for $359,000. We bring up this property price chart here. You can see just that decline in property there in Perth. Perth is the yellow line on this chart. So we're going back to 2006 prices, guys. Even before that. Sorry, no, 2006 it was higher. We're going 100 grand below. So we can go here. We can look at a few others. And here's a property I found. And this is 9 Andrews Street, Mandurah, and offers over $360,000. And we can see they've got a little... we'll skip the animation. I mean, good on the agent for the pink suit. You know, not bad. Eye-catching. I mean, a little bricky. Hopefully it's a double brick, so you get the thermal benefit. Actually, having double brick is really quite a smart idea. And, you know, a big block. You got a nice little corner block. Okay, so it's not as good as you'd want, but you got a, you know, paving out there, some palm trees. Not bad. You know, yeah, good little solid house. Good little solid house. Bought for 300. Is that some water damage there? Maybe. Could be from the AC. Bought for 300, or offered for 360,000. Now, if we go to the valuations, we can see it last sold for, on the 31st of the 5th, 2011, $350,000. And here the property insights are saying it's 325 to 350. So the valuation of this property is back down to the level that it was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. So if you're in this house, you might be a bit annoyed that you didn't flip it when the market was on fire and you're trying to get out now, out of the area. But that's not much growth. Well, it's no growth. That's negative when you count for inflation and then all the holding costs over that time period. But if we have a look here with all the social issues that are being raised, just look at the number of properties here. We'll filter it. We'll clear all. We'll just go houses. Look at the number of properties that are for sale here, that they're trying to sell everywhere in this community. We'll turn on... Let's just look at land. That's a whole other thing. Look at all the land here that's trying to be sold. Apartments, villas, houses, townhouses. So... That's one of the issues, guys, of living in a community like this. Unemployment is high. People are struggling to pay their mortgages. The economy has been completely shot. And Western Australia is doing a lot better than other parts of the country, at least with regards to the mining sector. But how many fly-in, fly-out workers would be moving their family into Mandurah? Or would you be looking at another part of Perth? You know, a bit further up. You don't want to expose your family to the social issues that are now developing down there. So guys, is this a warning for the rest of us? Is this a warning for the rest of us? Because there's another consideration. There's another thing I'd like to raise to everyone's attention. Because we've got the government are handing out money left, right, and center. You know, all through, well, grants and stimulus in order to prop up the housing market. Now, Western Australia has been particularly good at propping up the housing market. We can see building approvals in WA for private sector houses are up 34.9%, guys. And dwelling units are up 33.8%. This is from the previous month. I mean, they're just chucking money. I think at one stage in WA you can get like 50 grand worth if you combine everything together. And people are just going mad for new build, mad for houses. So that puts downward pressure on this. It creates a $50,000 disincentive to buy an existing established house. Why would I buy a cheaper house, or why would I pay the same money for a house in Mandurah, which has all the problems, when I can go further up or somewhere else and get a nice brand new shiny house? And the government is going to give me free money to do it. So there you have it, guys. There's another example of how government intervening in the market, picking winners, can have unintended consequences. What do you think? What do you think? So the tradies that live in Mandurah, who've bought their houses, who are struggling to pay it, are, well, going to have the government propping them up because of the grants thrown out, but then that's also destroying the value of their property and the prospect of them to sell. It's beautiful how it works sometimes, isn't it? It really is. So what do you think, everyone? Do you think this is a warning for the rest of us? Will this mortgage stress continue to grow throughout Australia? And are more people going to start to get a dose of tougher times? As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I created, there are a few ways you can. You You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, or Independent Reserve. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day. I'll see you all next time.